But right now, we got a new video page at News OK Live. Check it out, and it enables you to ask questions during our live events. Let's take a couple of them. First of all, Eric, does Steven Adams get enough credit for his screens? Seems to me he wipes out a lot of defenders.
I think he should. I guess he should get more credit for his screens. Steven Adams is a guy who's setting screens on those inbounds plays yesterday that were so effective for the Thunder. Durant gets free reign to the rim on one where it was early in the game when they made it 5-0, and he had an easy dunk. I think he might have screened off a guy, or actually Durant screened off a guy on a Robertson play in the third quarter, but Steven Adams sets great screens. He's good at those little things, and he's good at post defense. He's good at the things that the Thunder need him to do, and he's added more to his offensive game as well. So should Steven Adams get more credit for his screens? Darnell, you think Steven Adams is a little overrated?
I never said overrated. I never said
I believe
overrated.
you've said overrated locally.
He is overrated around these parts.
Okay, sorry.
Is.
Is he underrated nationally?
Who's better, Steven Adams or Dwight Howard? The fact that you guys even have to pause and think about it tells me you're overrated Steven Adams.
Dwight Howard. Especially with contract and age, I think I would 100% rather have Steven Adams.
Was not the question.
I think for this Thunder team, Steven Adams is a better player. Dwight Howard wants post-ups. He's tossing weird bricks.
And I think that's the important...
He's getting teased. Like, everything matters within a player. And, like, what Steven Adams is, his mind, his toughness, doesn't want shots, he gets other people technicals. Like, Dwight Howard's getting the technicals that Steven Adams is forcing the other team to make. Like, if you combine everything and not just, like, hey, Dwight Howard's bigger and blocks more shots, like, Steven Adams is probably a better player. And to me, that's not as much about Adams as I just really think Dwight Howard's declined and not that good anymore.
Another question, by the way, if you want to get Anthony fired up, the charter member of the Steven Adams fan club.
From day one.
From day one, charter member. From Arnold, here's a question, Darnell. You handled this one first. Do you think Morrow or Payne will be able to play themselves back into the rotation with Waiters missing time? Of course, Dion Waiters, the third tragedy to strike this team in less than a month. Of course, Ingrid Williams killed in a car accident, the wife of Monty Williams, assistant coach. Partner, owner, Aubrey McClendon killed in a car accident, and now Dion Waiters' brother. Classy move by the Thunder last night to recognize both and have a moment of silence for both Aubrey and Dion's brother. Dion's out for an undetermined amount of time. Back to basketball, does this create an opening for, we saw Morrow last night, we saw Payne, is it there for the taking?
I don't think so. And I don't think so because I don't think Dion Waiters is going to miss that much time. You know, they play obviously Friday night and then Saturday night, so that's 2 games that he might not play. He's probably still not going to be with the team, but after that, I expect him to be back. So that's the first reason. The second reason, I think we got a glimpse of it last night. Billy Donovan went to Anthony Morrow and Kyle Singler, and Payne just kind of happened to come in that second quarter a little bit, and then he got yanked. So I don't think he's going to even go to Payne if Waiters has to miss the next 2-3 games. I think he's going to go to Morrow and Singler.
He's done it a couple games lately where he just kind of squeaks Cameron Payne in the first half. I think he's trying to kind of keep the rookie engaged. I don't know. I mean, I think to me it's more like who gets the minutes, Randy Foye or Cameron Payne, because Randy Foye's been the one playing pseudo point guard. Durant handles the ball a lot of times.
More since you wrote that piece about Durant's turnovers.
I don't think it was the piece. I think it was the optics of what was happening. But, you know, so I think it's between those. So Waiters going to get his minutes. He's the 2 guard. I think he kind of blocks Morrow in a sense. And Kyle Singler, who's playing pretty well lately, blocks Morrow. So to me, the argument's Payne or Foye. I think if we're just looking at right now, like who would help more, probably Foye, just because of, like, he's just a little bit better defensively. But as we talked about on the podcast today, check it out. Is this the right long-term move? I mean, Randy Foye's a 32-year-old free agent. Cameron Payne's a 21-year-old on a roster that doesn't have a lot of young, promising talent, you know, in the back end.
What's the answer to that, Eric?
I don't know what the answer is. I know what I would do.
What would you do?
I would cut into some of Waiters' minutes, and I would give Payne some of those.
You know what? I just thought last night, his defensive liabilities are obvious. His offensive contributions are not significant enough to sort of put up with this. And toughness, this is time for toughness. Randy Foye's tougher.
Yeah.
Stronger.
I'm not talking
better
about,
defender.
I'm not talking about Foye. And part of what I'm talking about, I guess, is more so Morrow's minutes. You saw Morrow get a little bit more minutes last night. I mean, he still didn't get much, but to me, Morrow and Payne at this point are interchangeable. Granted, Morrow's going to hit you some threes. Payne will hit you some threes too. He's shooting 37% from three, and both of them defensively aren't very good. So what I would do is I would go with Payne, who's a little bit more opportunistic in terms of defensive stuff. He'll get you some steals every now and then. He'll go on a steal binge, or he'll get in front of a guy on a screen and work over a screen. Morrow, not so much.
One of the things that's depriving Payne of his opportunities is he's blown leads. Milwaukee, Los Angeles. Those are times in the past when the Thunder's been really good. I think back to the year of Kevin Martin, in fact, when those guys they had the best point differential in the league. Guess what it meant? It meant younger players got to play. Mm-hmm. Those opportunities aren't here because these guys aren't taking care of the basketball. Here's a question, though, from Mike Wilson. Mike wants to know, is there a timeline for Monty Williams' return? Anthony, do you guys see the skid or the defensive, to what do you attribute? I mean, rephrase. How much do the missing veteran assistant coaches have to do with the Thunder's troubles?
You know, I think maybe a little bit. You know how Westbrook had that like 2-game relapse in L.A. and Golden State, and he was kind of, you know, he needed to be reined in a little bit.
That three-point shot.
Yeah. Mo Cheeks has been at practice, and like Billy even said it the other day. And Billy's pretty good about like he's not jealous of like, hey, you know, why are you working? You know, he wants his assistants.
Mo, get off the couch.
Yeah.
Get out here.
So
Did you see that three-pointer?
Yeah, basically, he. So I mean, he's been working with Russ, or back talking and around Russ, and then Russ has had 2 great games, so that might have helped. As far as the defensive problems, Monty Williams was kind of their defensive coach. He was like working that early in the season. It's not like they were like locking people up early in the season.
Their defense hadn't been all that great all season, so I mean, I don't think that those two coaches. It will help some, but it's up to Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, all those guys to actually play defense.
Yeah, I mean,
coach can only do so much.
You've been around it for a long time. But you've seen Mo Cheeks make a difference when they acquired him. We've seen the moments where Russ went storming off to the end of the bench and started taking off on the seats. That stuff is not happening anymore. Maturation or Mo?
Maturation. Russell Westbrook is what now? 27 years old.
And married.
He was maybe 23 when that happened. So I just think it's the maturation process.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of his maturation, what I can't even say maturation process is the fact that Mo Cheeks was there a lot, and then when Mo Cheeks left, they brought in Robert Pack, and then now Pack's gone, but they brought back Mo Cheeks. Like they've always had a veteran, old-time point guard that has Westbrook's ear. That's helped with that maturation.
Let's talk about maturation. Let's talk about another old head that came back to town. Nazim Muhammad is back. I saw him at the subway just yesterday. That's the initiation.
There's better spots to go.
Oh, don't be hating on the.
That's where we saw the champ, Evander Holyfield.
Are they sponsoring us? Oh. Never mind. $5 foot long.
No, we saw him yesterday at the subway. Went over there and said hi. He's back. What impact, Eric?
Oh, the locker room impact. He's one of these guys that's been around the team when they had their most success during the years in the finals and the year where they were a great team as well. I mean, you saw him last night when he was talking to Kevin Durant when he was a little hot. You know, I mean, he's a guy that's essentially another coach out there. And I don't think the Thunder thought that they said, you know, if we're going to go get a guy in free agency, we're not going to take a risk on somebody who we might not gel with the locker room. We know what this guy brings. He's a guy that has been around. So when you got 2 assistant coaches down, it doesn't hurt to have essentially another one come in and be in the locker room every day.
And if you're gonna bring a guy in and not play him, you need to bring a guy in that's okay with not playing. Like, you know, a lot of these buyout guys are getting bought out because they're not playing and they want to play. If Andre Miller's coming in, he's not playing. Kevin Martin, I don't know, maybe. Joe Johnson would have played. They went after him, but Joe Johnson wanted more guarantees, more minutes, that type of stuff. He's in Miami. Yeah, that doesn't help either. As far as like what, I don't know, like let's say the season played out and they didn't sign Nazim Muhammad compared to what it's about to play out and they did sign him. Does that equal any more wins in the playoffs or before? Maybe not, maybe. But it doesn't lose them a lot. You know, it doesn't give them a loss.
Is this the Kendrick Perkins role, Darnell? Is this the spot that Perk once occupied?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, and I think the Thunder could use it. You got Steven Adams, who's still a young center, not better than Dwight Howard, but he's pretty good. You've got Enes Kanter, still a young center, developing. Nazim Muhammad has seen it all, done it all. He's won a championship, I think, with the Spurs. So he can teach those young guys, not so much Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. I think those guys are veterans now. They understand what they need to do, what they shouldn't be doing. I think it's for the young guys like Enes Kanter, Steven Adams.